We've been taught to think of sexual energy as something purely physical, a rush of desire, a temporary craving. A private act, something to be hidden, suppressed, or indulged in behind closed doors. But this perspective is narrow, incomplete. Sexual energy is not just about the act, it's the source, the root, the base frequency of your existence. It is the primal life force that drives every form of creation, whether it's physical, emotional, intellectual, or spiritual. From the moment of conception, you were created through sexual energy. Every human being walking this earth was sparked into life by it. It's not dirty, it's not shameful, it's sacred, potent, intelligent. Yet most people are completely unaware of how much of their behavior, emotions, ambition, even their creativity and charisma are fueled by this energy. And because it goes unacknowledged, unstudied, it leaks. It's wasted on distraction, drained by scrolling, scattered in endless loops of dopamine-chasing habits. In ancient traditions, from Taoist alchemy to yogic tantra, sexual energy was known as the foundation of personal power. Not just for intimacy, but for transformation. Warriors, monks, artists, leaders, they learned to cultivate it, to store it, to move it through the body like fire through a temple. When you begin to see your sexual energy as a battery, a force to be charged, circulated, and directed, you step into a different kind of awareness. Suddenly, this isn't about shame or denial. It's about discipline, awareness, ownership, because what you do with your sexual energy determines the quality of your life. Not just your pleasure, but your presence. Not just your satisfaction, but your strength. And once you begin to harness it, really harness it, it doesn't just change how you feel, it changes who you are. We live in a world that rewards immediacy. Swipe, click, scroll. Everything is available in seconds: food, entertainment, validation, even intimacy in digital form. Porn is no longer hidden. It's marketed, glamorized, engineered for addiction. And the cost, your focus. Your power, your time. Masturbation, when reduced to a habit of impulse, becomes more than just a release. It becomes a trap. A loop of instant gratification that trains your mind to seek comfort over growth, escape over presence. The more frequently you chase that quick dopamine hit, the less your nervous system is trained to handle tension, stress, or ambition. You teach yourself to retreat rather than to rise. In those moments of temptation, it's not just about lust. It's about where your energy goes. You reach for your phone, you scroll through images, you trigger a chemical cascade in your brain. Dopamine floods your system, and for a brief moment, the world feels softer, quieter. But that high fades fast, and what's left is the hollow space it carved out. You think you're in control because it feels like a choice. But habits rooted in instant pleasure often run deeper than desire. They're automated, unconscious, reflexive. They bypass your higher thinking and operate in the background of your life, stealing moments, stealing momentum. This cycle numbs the edge you need, the hunger, the clarity, that raw, electric discomfort that forces you to grow, to move, to fight for something real. When you numb it with constant gratification, you kill your own fire before it even has a chance to burn. What's more, each time you indulge without intention, without purpose, you're giving away your seed, not just physically, but energetically. That's your vitality, that's your potential, dripped out and wasted over and over again, for nothing more than a flicker of false satisfaction. Every empire built, every dream realized, every act of greatness requires energy. It requires patience, it requires restraint. Instant gratification robs you of that silently, systematically, invisibly. Retention, the conscious choice to withhold ejaculation, is a concept rarely spoken about openly, almost taboo in many modern conversations. Yet, it holds one of the most profound keys to mastering your sexual energy. It's not about denial or repression. It's about preservation and transformation. Imagine your sexual energy as a precious currency. When you scatter it carelessly, it's gone. But when you hold on to it, when you steward it wisely, that energy compounds. It becomes a reservoir, a source of strength, focus, and vitality that can fuel every area of your life. This isn't just theory. Ancient practices, from the Taoists to yogis, have emphasized retention as a path to extending life, heightening awareness, and deepening spiritual connection. The body is designed not merely to release energy, but to recycle and refine it, turning raw desire into creative power. When you practice retention, something remarkable happens. Your physical energy multiplies. You feel more alive, more awake. There's a sharper mental clarity, a calm alertness that replaces the fog of overindulgence. Your motivation spikes, your mood stabilizes, and your resilience to stress grows stronger. Retention teaches discipline not through punishment, but through mastery. It trains you to listen deeply to your body, to differentiate between fleeting urges and genuine needs. It helps you cultivate patience, the ability to delay gratification in favor of a higher, longer, lasting reward. In a world obsessed with release, retention invites you to step off the treadmill of compulsive habits and into the flow of conscious choice. It turns sexual energy from a drain into a wellspring. But retention is not about suppression. It's about learning to circulate the energy inward and upward, allowing it to nourish your mind, your heart, your spirit. When you learn this skill, your sexual energy no longer controls you. Instead, you become its master. There's a profound connection between how you manage your sexual energy and the way you carry yourself in the world. Sexual discipline isn't just about controlling urges. It's about cultivating a magnetic presence, a quiet power that draws others in without effort. When you learn to master your impulses, something shifts deep inside. Your mind stops racing, your emotions settle, and your energy aligns. This alignment creates a natural confidence, not the kind that is loud or aggressive, but the kind that is calm, grounded, and unshakable. Confidence born from sexual discipline comes from a place of integrity. It's knowing you're in control of your body and mind. You don't need to seek external validation or prove yourself because your power is rooted in self-mastery. This inner authority radiates outward, influencing every interaction, every decision. You become more present, more attentive. People pick up on that energy instantly. They see someone who isn't scattered by cravings or distractions, but who is focused, intentional, and steady. This presence is magnetic. It commands respect, invites trust, and opens doors. Moreover, sexual discipline sharpens your emotional resilience. Instead of reacting impulsively to desire or frustration, you develop patience and self-awareness. You learn to sit with discomfort, to navigate your feelings without being overwhelmed. This emotional control deepens your confidence because you're no longer at the mercy of your moods or urges. At the same time, mastering sexual energy enhances your creativity and ambition. You're not drained by constant release. Instead, you harness that energy as fuel. This power propels you forward, whether it's pursuing a career goal, building meaningful relationships, or expanding your personal growth. The confidence that emerges from sexual mastery isn't superficial. It's a quiet force, an unspoken assurance that you are aligned with your deepest self. It's a power that comes from within, and it shapes the way you show up in every moment. Your brain is a powerful organ, remarkably adaptable, endlessly rewiring itself based on your habits and focus. Every time you indulge in unchecked lust, you strengthen neural pathways that seek instant pleasure and temporary escape. This wiring can trap you in cycles of craving, distraction, and depletion. But what if you could consciously shift that wiring? What if instead of reinforcing the habit of chasing fleeting physical satisfaction, you trained your brain to redirect that energy into something greater, into power, creativity, and purpose? This process begins with awareness, recognizing the triggers and urges for what they really are, or energy, a signal, a call to act. Lust itself is not the enemy, it's a signal of life, a spark, but when left unchecked, it consumes you. When harnessed, it fuels transformation. Neuroscience shows that the brain's plasticity, the ability to change, is your greatest asset. Every time you resist the automatic impulse to indulge, you weaken the old circuits and build new ones. These new pathways link sexual energy to ambition, to creative projects, to physical vitality, to spiritual growth. This is the essence of rewiring, turning lust, which can often feel like a chaotic flood, into a steady, focused river of energy that flows through your body and mind. Instead of reacting to urges, you respond with intention. You channel that powerful force into actions that build rather than consume. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily practice of conscious choice, of redirecting focus from the superficial to the substantial. But with persistence, your brain adapts. You develop the ability to see desire not as a distraction, but as raw fuel, potential energy waiting to be harnessed. As this new wiring strengthens, your relationship to your own power changes. You move from being a slave to fleeting pleasure to becoming the architect of your own energy. You build reserves of strength that carry you through challenges, boost your creativity, and amplify your presence. The power that emerges from rewired sexual energy is subtle but undeniable. It's the power of self-control, the power to create, the power to inspire. And as your brain rewires itself, you step into a new version of yourself, one where sexual energy serves your highest goals instead of derailing them. Sexual energy carries with it a heavy cultural baggage, shame, guilt, confusion, that many of us inherit without even realizing. From childhood, society teaches us that desire is something to be hidden, controlled, or even feared. This deep-rooted conditioning creates emotional blocks that trap us in unhealthy cycles around masturbation and sexual expression. When shame takes hold, it acts like a shadow over your natural energy, twisting it into something you feel you must apologize for or hide. Instead of embracing sexual energy as a powerful, creative force, many experience it as a source of guilt or self-judgment. This emotional friction depletes energy faster than the physical act ever could. Addiction loops often grow from this very shame. The more someone feels guilty or anxious about their sexual habits, the more they may turn to those very habits to escape uncomfortable feelings. It becomes a vicious cycle. Seek pleasure to avoid pain, then feel more shame, then seek more pleasure again. This unconscious loop feeds on itself, trapping you in a spiral of loss and self-criticism. Breaking free from this cycle requires compassion and awareness. First, you must recognize that masturbation itself is not inherently wrong or harmful. It is a natural expression of your biology. The harm comes from unconscious patterns, when the behavior is driven by avoidance, numbing, or compulsion rather than mindful choice. Healing begins by lifting the veil of shame and guilt, by talking openly and honestly with yourself about your experiences without judgment. It means understanding the emotional triggers behind your habits and developing tools to respond differently. When you face your habits with curiosity rather than condemnation, you reclaim control. You create space for new, healthier patterns to emerge. The energy once lost to shame and addiction loops can be redirected toward healing and growth. This process isn't easy. It demands vulnerability and persistence, but as you break down these emotional barriers, you unlock a well of self-respect and inner freedom. You move from being a prisoner of unconscious impulses to a conscious steward of your own sexual energy. By dismantling shame and addiction, you not only restore your vitality, but also clear the path toward true mastery, where sexual energy becomes a source of empowerment rather than conflict. Transmutation is one of the most powerful yet overlooked secrets when it comes to mastering sexual energy. It's the art of taking the raw, intense energy of desire, the fire burning within you, and transforming it into something higher: motivation, creativity, ambition, and sustained personal power. Desire, at its core, is energy in motion. It's alive, electric, and demanding attention. When left unchecked, it often dissipates in fleeting pleasure, distraction, or frustration. But when you learn to transmute that energy, you redirect its flow from physical release toward purposeful action. Think of desire as fuel. In its raw form, it can burn out quickly, wasting itself in momentary satisfaction. But transmuted, desire becomes the engine that propels you forward, the creative spark behind every invention, every masterpiece, every breakthrough in human history. Transmutation requires awareness and intention. It starts by acknowledging the power of your desires without becoming enslaved to them. Instead of pushing desire away or trying to suppress it, you invite it in, not as a need to be fulfilled immediately, but as a signal to be harnessed. When you feel desire rising rather than reaching for instant relief, you pause. You breathe into the energy and consciously redirect it. That urge becomes a pulse pushing you toward your goals. Maybe it's channeled into writing, exercise, learning, or building deeper relationships. The raw fire of desire fuels focus, persistence, and discipline. This process transforms sexual energy from a source of distraction into a source of creative power. The more you practice transmutation, the stronger your ability becomes to sustain energy over time. You don't burn out after brief spikes of pleasure. Instead, you build a steady current of motivation that drives you deeper into your purpose. Throughout history, many great leaders, artists, and thinkers understood and practiced this form of alchemy. They recognized that sexual energy was not just about physical expression, but a foundational force for all human achievement. When you learn to transmute, you reclaim that ancient wisdom for yourself. You break free from cycles of chasing temporary highs and step into a flow where desire fuels your ambition, sharpens your focus, and ignites your creativity. This isn't about repression or denial, it's about transformation, turning what could scatter your energy into the very power that builds your legacy. Mastering your sexual energy isn't something that happens overnight, nor is it about willpower alone. It's a journey, a deliberate practice of tuning into your body, your mind, and your spirit in ways that cultivate awareness, control, and flow. The good news is that there are concrete, practical habits and techniques you can adopt every day that help you reclaim this powerful force and use it to transform your life. First and foremost, breathwork is a foundational practice in mastering sexual energy. Breath is the bridge between your conscious mind and your body's deeper rhythms. Learning to breathe deeply and intentionally allows you to circulate energy throughout your body instead of letting it become stuck or scattered. When you feel sexual energy rising rather than reacting impulsively, you can engage in slow, deep breathing, drawing the energy up from your lower belly through your spine and into your chest and head. This practice not only calms the nervous system, but also helps you move the energy inward and upward, transforming raw desire into focused vitality. A simple breath technique to start with is the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeating this several times during moments of temptation or high energy can ground you, slow racing thoughts, and increase your awareness of how energy moves in your body. Another powerful habit to develop is the use of cold showers or cold exposure. Cold water shock may sound extreme, but it's been used for centuries as a tool to build discipline and invigorate the body. When you expose yourself to cold, your body experiences controlled stress. This activates your nervous system in a way that heightens alertness, increases circulation, and boosts energy levels. More importantly, it teaches you to stay present with discomfort rather than avoiding it. This ability to hold tension calmly is directly transferable to managing sexual urges. By voluntarily embracing discomfort, you build resilience that spills over into every area of your life, including your mastery of sexual energy. In addition to breathwork and cold exposure, meditation is a cornerstone practice. Meditation trains your mind to observe without reacting, to witness impulses without being driven by them. In the context of sexual energy, meditation helps you create a gap between the rising urge and your response to it. Over time, this space gives you freedom. You begin to see desire as a wave that rises and falls rather than a command that must be obeyed. Start with simple mindfulness meditation. Sit quietly, focus on your breath or body sensations, and gently bring your attention back whenever your mind wanders. Even just 10 minutes a day can increase your self-awareness and emotional regulation. More advanced practices, like chakra meditation or energy visualization, can help you become more attuned to the subtle currents of sexual energy and learn how to guide them through your body consciously. Physical movement also plays a crucial role. Sexual energy is, after all, energy in motion. If it's blocked or stagnant, it can lead to frustration and tension. Practices like yoga, qigong, or tai chi are designed to balance, circulate, and harmonize energy within the body. These disciplines combine movement, breath, and mindfulness, making them particularly effective for cultivating sexual vitality. Yoga, for example, includes specific poses that open the hips and pelvis, areas where sexual energy tends to get stored or trapped. Opening these spaces physically allows energy to flow more freely. At the same time, the meditative aspect of yoga helps you develop inner focus and control. If you prefer something more dynamic, martial arts or even regular exercise can help. They ground you in your body, release tension, and build endurance physically and mentally, so you're better equipped to channel sexual energy productively. Another critical practice is setting clear intentions around your sexual energy. This means bringing conscious awareness to your habits and asking yourself, why do I want to master this energy? What will I do with the power I cultivate? Intention is the compass that guides your energy. Without it, energy dissipates aimlessly. With it, you become a conductor of your own force. Start by journaling or reflecting on your goals. Maybe you want to increase creativity, deepen your relationships, build confidence, or enhance spiritual growth. Whatever it is, writing down your intentions and revisiting them regularly strengthens your commitment and helps you stay on track when temptation arises. A powerful tool to support intention is daily affirmation or visualization. Affirmations are short, positive statements you repeat to yourself to reprogram limiting beliefs. Visualization is the practice of imagining yourself embodying mastery over your sexual energy, feeling strong, clear, and powerful. For example, an affirmation might be, "I am the master of my energy. I channel desire into creativity and purpose." Visualize yourself calm and centered in moments of challenge, turning urge into strength. Over time, these mental rehearsals condition your brain to respond differently to impulses. Lastly, cultivating a supportive environment is vital. Mastery doesn't happen in isolation. It's easier to maintain discipline when your surroundings encourage focus and growth. This might mean limiting access to triggers like explicit media, choosing friends who respect your goals, or creating daily routines that support your well-being. Technology can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it offers tools like meditation apps or breathwork guides. On the other, it bombards you with distractions and instant gratification. Being mindful about how you use technology and setting boundaries, like phone, free times or screen curfews, can protect your energy and help you stay grounded. In addition, community or accountability partners who understand the journey of sexual mastery can provide encouragement and perspective. Whether it's a trusted friend, mentor, or group, connection reminds you that you're not alone and helps sustain your motivation. Incorporating these practices, breathwork, cold exposure, meditation, movement, intention setting, affirmation, and environmental management, creates a holistic system for mastering sexual energy. It's a path of self-discovery as much as control, inviting you to reconnect with your body's wisdom and unlock the full spectrum of your vitality. With consistent practice, these habits not only help you manage impulses, but elevate every aspect of your life, your creativity, your confidence, your clarity, and your capacity to thrive in a distracted world. You move from reaction to response, from chaos to calm, and from scattered energy to unstoppable flow. Imagine stepping into a version of yourself where every action feels intentional, every moment charged with clarity, and your energy radiates with an undeniable force. This is the all-powerful you, the embodiment of mastery over your sexual energy, aligned deeply with your purpose, profoundly aware of your inner landscape, and utterly unstoppable in your pursuit of greatness. When you begin to master your sexual energy, you tap into a wellspring of power that transcends the physical. It's a power that vibrates through your entire being, mental, emotional, spiritual. It connects you to a higher frequency of existence, where your potential isn't limited by fleeting desires or distractions, but expanded by conscious choice and deep presence. Alignment is the first pillar of this transformation. To be aligned means your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony. Your sexual energy, once scattered or wasted, now flows in sync with your core values and goals. You no longer experience the internal tug-of-war between impulse and intention because you have learned to direct this potent force with precision. When you're aligned, your decisions come from a place of strength rather than weakness. You understand the difference between urges that serve your growth and those that derail it. This discernment allows you to cultivate habits that reinforce your power and let go of those that don't. The energy, once lost in confusion or compulsive behavior, now fuels your highest aspirations. Awareness is the second crucial element. Mastery begins with awareness, an acute sensitivity to your body's signals, your mental patterns, and emotional currents. When you are aware, you catch yourself before slipping into old habits. You notice the subtle rise of desire and choose how to respond rather than react. This heightened awareness sharpens your intuition. You begin to sense when your energy is aligned or depleted, when your mind is clouded or clear. You become fluent in the language of your body and mind, reading the signs like a map that guides you toward balance and power. With awareness comes emotional intelligence. Sexual energy is deeply intertwined with your emotions. Mastery means not only regulating physical urges, but also managing the emotional waves that accompany them, whether it's frustration, loneliness, excitement, or anxiety. By cultivating emotional awareness, you transform potential triggers into opportunities for growth. As you embody alignment and awareness, you naturally step into an unstoppable state. This is a flow where resistance diminishes and your momentum builds. Challenges become stepping stones rather than obstacles. Distractions lose their grip. Your focus sharpens and your energy intensifies. This unstoppable quality isn't about force or aggression. It's about resilience and grace. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows their power and wields it wisely. People sense this energy. It commands respect, inspires trust, and opens pathways that were once hidden. The all-powerful you moves through life with a magnetic presence. You don't need to prove anything because your energy speaks louder than words. You attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your elevated state. Beyond external success, mastering your sexual energy cultivates profound self-respect and peace. You no longer battle inner conflicts or live in cycles of regret. Instead, you experience a steady, nourishing connection with yourself, a sense of wholeness that radiates outward. This state of being also deepens your connection to others. When you're aligned and aware, your relationships become richer, more authentic. You communicate with clarity and empathy, creating bonds that support mutual growth rather than dependency or codependence. Spiritually, mastering sexual energy opens doors to deeper experiences of unity and transcendence. Many ancient traditions teach that sexual energy, when mastered, can be a gateway to expanded consciousness. You begin to experience life as interconnected, meaningful, and sacred. Physiologically, the benefits are equally profound. Mastery often leads to increased vitality, improved health, and greater physical endurance. Your body becomes an instrument of power and pleasure balanced with control, enhancing every aspect of your physical experience. At the core of this transformation is a shift in identity. You no longer see yourself as someone at the mercy of fleeting desires or external circumstances. Instead, you embody the creator of your own reality, a person who consciously shapes their energy, thoughts, and actions to build a life of meaning and influence. This identity shift is liberating. It dissolves limiting beliefs about weakness, addiction, or shame. It replaces them with empowering beliefs about strength, responsibility, and possibility. You begin to see yourself as a force of nature capable, resilient, and radiant. To reach this all-powerful state requires consistent practice, self-compassion, and patience. It's a path filled with challenges and breakthroughs. But each step forward deepens your connection to your true self and expands your capacity to live fully and freely. Ultimately, mastering your sexual energy is about reclaiming your birthright, the right to live with passion, purpose, and power. It's about becoming the fullest expression of who you are meant to be in every dimension of your life.